You talked about it a little bit, but why did you determine sales coaching was the solution? Like, why did you not invest in other spots?
Mm,
And maybe take us through like those beginning days. Like, how did you actually start building that coaching infrastructure?
yeah, two great questions. All right, so how did we hit the first one? How did we focus on sales coaching? Sat in on some one-to-one, sat in on some coachings in different organizations and different departments within the business to see what kind of coaching was going on. Right, it was our first step. Like, hey, where does the focus need to be? And then as we were going through that, we were realizing, okay, every single one-to-one or every coaching session can't just be around numbers because then I'm going to sit there, I'm going to talk numbers and move on. Great. You know what? We can look at a piece of paper and we can all have that conversation. We know what the numbers are. And we realized that maybe that wasn't pushing us on the effort. Great. Go make more calls, get more sales. That can only get you so far and only drive so much motivation. So for us, leaning towards that sales call process coaching was how can we automate some systems to provide that weekly consistency or biweekly consistency, right? And then off of that, how can we set up proper follow-ups? Great. Do we need to focus on numbers right now? Can we make that conversation super small? Great. 5 minutes. You tell me what to talk about. We can hit that really quick. But let's see what really is your goal for your job or goal for your career, right? Maybe this isn't your end game. So this allows to have more spaces on personal development and creating more of a maybe a coach to peer mentory kind of situation where great now we're working on efforts that help you grow besides just hitting your sales numbers, besides just hitting your maybe integration numbers. Now we're focusing on that employee growth and keeping track of that. And then to further go into that question, okay, so if we have how we have it set up right now, for an example, every other week is around numbers and accounts, Salesforce pipeline, going through that. What's hindering your day to day? What issues are you running into? Self awareness of self coaching. Great. And then every other week off of that is around listening to a call, breaking down a call, going down your process of how you would tackle a situation, maybe taking objection handlings one week. So going down a system with ambition to help us go through that, and as well just to decide that it was the sales call process that we wanted to focus the coaching on. They kind of went hand in hand. We're like, okay, we know that this process that we're doing for go to market and talking with our clients or potential future customers could be the same type of conversation that we're also having internally with our internal customers, right? They are our employees, but they are your internal customers because we need to get that longevity. If you have an SDR, that'd be great. I'll use myself for an example. You come in as an SDR, and then 3 years later, you have someone running systems and ops for coaching that realized that coaching maybe wasn't the best thing at the time as an SDR. So it helps provide that growth, and it just really dials in on that investing of your people because it's cheaper to retain employees than to go find new ones, really. So if this is an area that's going to help you do that, it has more of a voice for that for a rep to a coach or even a coach to a director because we use it on all levels. So it just makes it more streamlined and that again, that logical and repeatable process. So now you're comfortable. You know what to do when you're coming into work. You know what's going to happen when you're going into your one-to-ones. And the last thing anyone doesn't want to do is go into a meeting without an agenda or go into something fully blind. So now you kind of have a little of that extra hand holding and better experience all around. And I mean, from what I'm seeing, everyone seems a little happier around it.
Yeah, I think, one thing that I want to double down on here, I forget who I was talking to last week, but like coaching is such a broad term, right? And there are all these different kinds of coaching interactions that exist, and having a process for each one of them is crucial, right? You have your weekly one-on-one. You have, call reviews. If you're leading an SDR org, you're listening to cold calls. If you're leading an AE team, maybe you're doing deal review. But those like interactions from like personal and professional development, and then the numbers and the nitty gritty, like the skill drills, those got to be separate, right? Those should be separate because there's just so much, right? There's so much you can coach on. And when you have systems in place, I think another thing that sticks out to me is like you make coaching a safe space and not a reactionary thing,